Hello everyone, and welcome back to the final part of Let's Play Snowboard Kids 2 for the Nintendo 64. Here I'm going to be covering everything that you can get through Expert Mode, as well as all the hidden unlockables and Easter eggs in the game. So starting off here with a Sunny Mountain, on Expert Mode, which you can choose from at the beginning of the file select at the once you actually load your file. Sunny Mountain's not too, different in terms of, of anything that the AI does. It's just a relatively normal AI boost in terms of being a bit more aggressive, being a bit faster. It's nowhere near as bad as the level of rubber banding or cheating that the AI gets in the first game, but the AI will be, far more on you this time than they are in the other times. And Wendy turns out to be one of the most devious opponents throughout the entirety of Expert Mode, because she often, on just the smallest little bits of world geometry bumps, she often goes and does a trick on there to get herself more money. So she's often one who tends to get more weapons to shoot at you. So if she's right behind you, she's most likely going to end up shooting at you more than any of the other characters in the stage. So, and Wendy's is, if you're not playing as Wendy, Wendy's your opponent in most of the stages afterwards, which I find kind of strange. So Wendy is one of the most devious characters in Expert Mode, so you have to really be careful of her. Otherwise, Sunny Mountain is nothing special, but the AI is just, gonna be on your ass a bit more. But after you beat Sunny Mountain, you unlock the Poverty Board. So yes, you unlock a whole new set of boards after beating each of the courses. And of course, the Poverty Board only costs 100 gold. And yeah, there's a reason for that. Its stats aren't very good, and the Poverty Board, well, see what its special ability is. The Poverty Board constantly drains your money when you have any of it, all the way down to 0, and it does not stop. Yeah, it's basically a self-imposed challenge board. It has fairly weak stats. It keeps draining away your money. No real reason to play this unless you're trying to give yourself and your friends a bit of challenge, really. Actually, I notice now, say, the swirling money coin down at the bottom right, or the ones that you could see in other places. What happened here? What happened to Damien? Whatever. But you have to see that little coin symbol on the bottom right. If you actually freeze frame it when it's actually looking, when it's flat and looking at you, it looks like it's Linda's face on the money. So that's kind of weird. Here in Turtle Beach is much the same, except one of the AI characters always takes the left path through the sunken pirate ship, instead of here on the right path. And in this playthrough, it was Jam, so he tended to be... he tended to be the most trickiest AI for that course. And beating Turtle Beach will get you the Feather Board in the shop. Yes, returning from the first game. The Feather Board is basically acts just as if you have the wings permanently on. However, that makes it not very good a board in order to maintain speed on, because if you want to do your jump forward in order to try and reach maximum speed, you can't do that because the actual added jumping time is just gonna drain your speed. So it's not a good board for maintaining the level of speed on it, but hey, it's good for doing tricks, and it's pretty fun to at least jump around for a while, but it's not really something you're gonna really expect to win many races with. Jingletown is again a bit of the same, however I found the AI to be a bit more aggressive with its projectiles in this course. Especially around this area here when you go into the snowman, tunnel, I find that this place is a very common, grounds where you end up getting shot or hit with items a whole lot. So I guess the AI just runs into a whole bunch of the items and weapon boxes around that right time so they can try and attack you. So this one, the AI tends to shoot you quite a bit more. I am going to show off the entirety of the snowman fight, and indeed the rest of the boss fights, because they do function a bit differently, even just in terms of difficulty than the races do. The snowman shoots out so many more projectiles. Now, and I bounced off the top of his head there. However, none of them home on you. He just ups the ante by just shooting out so many more. Yeah, it doesn't have any change to his life bar or anything like that. You still have to wait a few seconds for him to get his head back on so that you can actually shoot him again. It really isn't too much more difficult than the first one. You might need to retry 1 or 2 times, but yeah, the only big danger you have to look out for is how many snowman shots go everywhere and just ricocheting everywhere. I mean, look at this. This is crazy. I'm just grateful that none of them are homing on you, or else you'd really never have a chance. Yeah, occasionally mixed in with the snowman shot is, of course, the free shots, and try to dodge it when you can, but, you know, you're not always going to be able to with just how many things that are on the field at any one time. I was kind of grateful he froze me there, so it actually made it so that I have a beeline straight for the bomb, so I can actually try and finish him off. I missed with the bomb in this first shot, and I think I blow myself up when I try to turn into this corner here, because I think I misjudged where I was. I was considering retrying there at that point, but I decided not to, which is great because here comes the point of my epic dodging maneuvers. Look at everything just miss me. I am ninja. And with this, it's only 2 shots left and the guy's dead, so... I can't believe that bomb missed him. Freaking homing ability. But yeah, that's how expert mode is for the snowman robot. A whole shitload more of projectiles that you gotta look out for. Beating those 2 courses together will unlock you the ice board. Yes, another board returning from Snowboard Kids 1. I didn't show it off for the first game, but I'm going to show it off here because it functions exactly the same. It's also very cheap, and that's for a good reason. It has a fairly high speed stat, but really that's its only good thing about it. You don't so much steer your board as you do rotate in place without changing direction. So it's meant to be, you know, a slippery board, mimic ice. Why anybody would want to use this is beyond me. Again, like the poverty board, this is really only kind of best as a self-imposed challenge kind of board. Because you're steering, I'm barely tapping the control stick every time Nancy moves here, and it's just so difficult to keep your bearings straight to where you actually want to go. Like, if you actually want to dodge something that you automatically see coming in front of you, you either have to jump at the right time, or have to start trying to turn well in advance and hope that you're gonna miss it. Yeah, it's a dumb board, it's not fun to use, and self-imposed challenges only. Wendy's house is actually really tricky. I tend to find that the AI tends to be really on you for a good part of the stage. Especially near the beginning parts, actually, like right around the key, like say the piano and everything. Around there, a lot of the enemies, and especially that part that I passed there after the grandfather clock, or at least the one with the pendulum. No, they tend to like to shoot you a whole bunch around there, so Wendy's house is actually one of the first really tricky stages of expert mode that I could say is, yeah, quite a bit harder than what it used to be. But by beating it, we get one of the most practical boards in the game, the Star Board. Yes, that completes the 3 returning boards from the original game, and it basically functions like a balanced board level 4, with 1 stat higher in each of the 3 parameters. And here in expert mode, you can indeed use the special boards on any of the courses, even in courses you haven't unlocked yet. And actually, the thing I should point out too, on expert mode, you don't have to like go in order of the first stage and last stage. You can go in any order you want in expert mode. You can start off with fighting the Damien robot if you want to, but I don't want to. So, like, yeah, you can like unlock the boards from later stages and use them in earlier ones if you want to later. So, yeah, that is a nice thing about it. Linda's house, I think is pretty normal for the most part, except enemies have a very strong tendency to hit you with items at just the most inopportune moments. Like, aside from the main, like, AI boost, you just have a whole bunch of enemies doing things like this. If I wasn't using the fastest character on a really fast board and jumping at the right time there, I would have fell right into the drink, and I would have lost, because Slash and Linda were right behind me all that time. But fittingly, after beating Linda's course, we unlock the Rich Board, which is shaped like a banknote. This board is basically the polar opposite of the Poverty Board. While the Poverty Board drains your money every time you have some, the Rich Board constantly has you accumulating money. So yeah, if you like find yourself in need of money a bit more often, try beating Linda's house first in expert mode. Get this board and use this to start winning your races, because hey, you'll always end up having some money unless a poorly timed rat comes and gets your day at the very end of the race. Crazy Jungle, nothing really too special to say about this one, honestly. Aside from just like the basic AI boost, they don't really do anything too special here. None of the AI ever tries to go on the rail shortcut or anything, kind of like Wendy does in the Haunted Mansion stage or anything like that. So, This one's just this one's actually pretty basic in terms of how it is. I mean, yeah, you might have to restart 1 or 2 times because the enemies, because the opponents got the better of you, but there's nothing really too special that they do here, at least from what I've noticed. And yeah, I still have to make sure throughout X mode, you do, like, say, the double shot ability, where you just kind of, like, say, shoot one, and then another one right afterwards, because if you notice there, Tommy deflected one of my bombs, and then got hit by a second one. Now, the dinosaur is much tougher. This took me quite a few retries, and the beginning is always the toughest here at the curve. It requires pretty much perfect, like, say, like, bombs being shot backward at him. And so, yeah, when he's ahead of you, he lays a whole bunch of eggs that you could trip over like rocks. This guy can almost outrun a bomb if he's in front of you, so you have to be careful of that. The first half of the stage is the toughest because you need to try and maintain a lead in front of him. And as I mentioned before, that requires pretty much like perfectly placed bombs being shot backwards in order to like keep him behind you. To just stall him so he doesn't overtake you. And also knowing where each of the items also tend to be. Go for, like, say, the actual frying pans here, because they do a good job stalling him for a bit. Yeah, and I don't go for the shortcut over the rails, simply because it's... trying to get a good, like, say, first start up against the dinosaur is really tough already, and you don't want to have to, like, say, risk, like, your placement because you want to go over the rails. So I find, like, say, just going through the normal path, getting the speed boost, shooting backwards when you hear him coming up right behind you, tends to be a better option. Around this point after the halfway point, once you kind of get past the parts with the rails, I find it's a bit easier if you're in the lead in order to maintain it all the way through to the end. Like I said, the beginning part up against a curve, it had me restarting a whole bunch of times. Just a whole bunch of times. At this point, I don't even end up shooting him anymore, and I'm already just going to win here, so... Yeah, the dinosaur is very tricky, much faster than he was in the normal mode. And of course, beating him unlocks the Dragon Board, which is the most expensive board in the game at 400,000 gold. Yes, and the Dragon Board is a very broken board, and it's just done plainly to give you just a fun experience. What does a Dragon Board do? Permanent wings and rocket boosts. Yep, even if you get squished down or tripped down and hit with an item, once you recover, the wings and the rocket boosts reform again. And yeah, this is just a fun board to play around with. Like, this is basically an I win board or anything. Like, if you're at this point in the game and you've won, like, say, the Dragon Board legitimately, you're never gonna lose again if you use this thing. Probably not. And of course, like say, with the extra wings, it just makes like this section of your crazy jungle all that much more fun to do. And I wanted to keep that part in because a rat attacked me right before I got all the bunch of money, so whoever used it against me got denied a whole bunch of money. Starlight Highway is surprisingly easy, actually. Like, here I'm about to switch all the way to the third lap, and you're just gonna see, look how far I am ahead of all the rest of them. Like, they just weren't even really getting near me on this one. Yeah, one of the AI opponents is using the board that you unlock by beating this stage, and that's a board that reduces your speed down to minimal. But I thought, you know, that's just one of the opponents. I thought the other two would have been much more aggressive on this, but no, Starlight Highway was amazingly easy, actually. And by beating Starlight Highway, we unlock the Ninja Board, which is the one I think Linda was using in the actual race I showed off there. Cost 50,000, which is a decent price for that. So what does a Ninja Board do? You probably saw it as soon as that race started there. The Ninja Board makes you permanently invisible, which is a very nice ability to have in some of the later stages if you're using a fast character, because the Ninja Board also has the most minimal speed stat. Yes, its ranking for speed is a 1, so yeah, you're not going to be going anywhere too fast with this guy. So using this board with Linda or Tommy, that's pretty much what you're going to want to do. But other than that, nothing else too special to say. Like in the right hands and the right course, the Ninja Board could basically be an I win board, just like the Dragon Board can be, but needs a little more finesse. Haunted Mansion, again, nothing too special about this one aside from the AI boost. However, I tend to find that I think opponents tend to have a little bit it's a bit tougher to hit them with your shots, actually. Sorry. It's a bit tougher to actually hit them with your shots, I kind of find in this one. Like, they tend to jump over and dodge a bit easier. I mean, shooting them point blank, yeah, you'll always hit that, but... And also, watch this right here. This is something very common in expert mode. I always find that I end up getting hit with a projectile as soon as I land from a big trick jump. That's something distressingly common in expert mode. I can't explain why. But by getting through the place that has a whole bunch of ghosts, we unlock the charm board. Which is, yeah, for some reason I forgot to record myself purchasing it. But in any case, the charm board is basically balance board level 3, except it's able to dispel ghosts after about 1 second instead of the 7 seconds or so that it takes for it to wear off naturally. And that's what I use as Tommy in order to beat Iceland, because once you get in first, you just get attacked with ghosts so often that it's really, really difficult to actually win, because when you slow down, the enemies catch up to you, they shoot you, difficult to dodge with Tommy's jumping, so I just played as with the charm board in order to just bypass all that. Yeah, some might consider a little bit cheating, but you know what, I was getting kind of tired of... I wanted to get this, like, recording done. This took me a while. And this is actually right after you beat Damien Robot for the second time in expert mode. I'm going to save that part for the very end. But after you save the game after the credits, and you restart your file by loading, you know, the same exact profile that you just used to beat the Damien Robot on, that's how you get the prompt that you unlocked the last board in the game. Yeah, choose my character again. Come on. I should have cut that part out. By beating Iceland and the Damien Robot, you unlock the high-tech board. And this one, compared to the Dragon board, it's a little underwhelming. It's half the price of it, and yeah, you could probably guess what it kind of is, that this one, based on other things. The high-tech board, it's a permanent speed fan fixed to your board, just kind of like, you know, the Dragon board's permanent rocket boosts and everything. I mean, it's a fun board to use. I mean, it's got better turning than the Dragon board does. It's not making you go careening off everywhere, obviously, but... You know, I'm a little bit surprised that this is all it is for it. Like, you don't get anything special for, like, doing everything on expert mode. Oh, and also right here, this is the shortcut that I couldn't show in the Haunted Mansion earlier, because this is the one that needs a speed boost in order to get up the ramp. Yeah, all there is here is a item box. See, it's a very nice cut across the sort of letter D-shaped, like, area that is, so... But again, you need, like, a speed boost to get up there, so it's a very uncommon pathway to get. So that's every single special board in the game. And here they are with all of their stats and how they are. Sorry about that. But yeah, every one of these boards, once they're unlocked, is available to play in the normal mode when you want to go back to it, and expert mode, and the battle mode once you load your file with that thing, with that file in battle mode for in the multiplayer section. And even though battle mode is multiplayer, it is still able to be playable with one player. And this is just like, say, just choose a place, go race on it. This is where you could actually do an actual race on things like the X course, which is the trick course in Snowboard Street. And even, you know, like, say, the boss versions of all the 3 courses actually have, you know, boss stages on them. And here Coach and Damien have, like, little, like, disappointed animations when you decide to press the B button and cancel out of them down the character select. Mr. Dog doesn't, though. He seems to be okay if you decide to not really want to play with him. And here in the actual battle mode, you can actually choose your character's costumes. So everyone has 4 costumes. And this, for some reason, is Mr. Dog's space costume, and that pig-shaped one is his Halloween costume. Okay, the pig one, fair enough, but how is this panda costume supposed to be a space costume? Mr. Dog is, again, basically, you know, like Tommy, except a little bit faster. Fastest character in the game, worse jumping, worse acceleration, worse turning, but, yeah, he's really, really fast. And that's about it. Nothing really too special. Again, yeah, nothing too special about him. Can't play as him in the story mode, unfortunately, but he's really good in battle mode, and he's fun to use in multiplayer if you just want to have a whole bunch of people that are really fast. Again, here's Damien's costumes. Summer, Halloween, and space, which doesn't look all that spacey to me, but whatever. Damien basically is Cinnamon of this game, you know, like Cinnamon, the unlockable character from the first game. He's kind of like above average in all stats, not terribly excelling in any one feature, but good in absolutely everything. So he kind of has like less frames of animation too, so he kind of looks like he's animated like a Snowboard Kid's one character as well. What is that ring thing on his back on his Halloween costume? I never figured that out. Well, thankfully, Damien doesn't have any proprietary boards and only he can use, and nothing else. He uses all the other regular boards in the game, so that's nice. So, that's something that Shinneman did that I never liked. But yeah, Damien's a fun character to play as, especially if, for people that aren't as good in the game. And of course, I'm gonna have to end using, thing with Damien with him getting squashed. Coach is the opposite of Mr. Dog, actually. Sorry, I don't know why I keep, having to clear my throat so often right now. But yeah, it's kind of funny because it looks like he shaves his eyebrows for his summer outfit, and then... What? Halloween? Space? How is that supposed to be a space costume? What is up with the unlockable characters in their space costumes? They're not fitting in with the Super Sentai aesthetic of the regular characters. What is this? Well, in any case, Coach is the slowest, lightest character in the game, so... And I gave him the Dragon Board for this section, but it also gave everyone else a Dragon Board too, and I have no idea how that happened. Like, you can actually see that giant pit on the left, actually, when you jump up with the Dragon Board at the beginning of Iceland. I don't know if that's supposed to be, like a capsule or a pod or something that comes up from hell for this section because Damien's here and everything. But it's an interesting set piece, and that's one of the things I actually like best about the Dragon Board, because you're permanently affixed with the wings on you, and because you can go so fast and launch yourself, you can see so much more of the world around you. In a lot of cases, it can help you appreciate, like, say, the level geometry in a lot of places, and even in fact that for an N64 game, this game has actually pretty good draw distance, in all things considered. Like, the draw distance on the PlayStation 1 update of the original game was actually not that good like this one. Things didn't smoothly, like, say, fade into screen. They just kind of, big chunks of world geometry just kind of popped into frame in that one. But yeah, like, using the Dragon Board is really good if you want to actually just explore the levels, or at least get a better viewpoint of all of them, to see how everything is built, or to see the extra sprites that went and everything. Like, there's that big polar bear right there on top of some of these archways here in Iceland. So, Dragon Board with Coach is really fun because he's the best character to use the Dragon Boards with. Yeah, it makes a fun way in order to explore everything that you would ever really want to do. And speaking of exploring some of the levels, we're going to be doing something a little bit interesting now. These are hidden Damien locations. His sprite is hidden on a number of courses, but you often have to slow down in order to notice them. Here at the beginning of Sunny Mountain on that log cabin right there on the right, there's Damien right behind the chimney, and he's going to hop behind it so that you don't see him. Yeah, no, I never noticed that when I was younger. Here on Turtle Beach is really tricky. Look on the left there amongst the flowers. I'm going to have an arrow pointing it out on there. Yeah, he just shows off really quickly there. Like, if you're slowing down, you have yourself at the right angle, you can see him better, but yeah, he's tricky to find. Jingletown's pretty easy to find. He's already up there amongst the penguins up off the main course. You can see him passing to the right now. Here in Lindis Castle, he's actually on top of the cake at the right of the screen, as you can see here. I guess it explains why he was eating the cake or something at the beginning of the game. The cutscene at the beginning of the course. Down there on the left, there he is. Looks like he's being eaten by a giant flower or something, and just passed on the screen. You can see Damien if you stick to the right side of the right side path of the fork at the beginning of Starlight Highway. But it's easy if you're on the main path and actually just steer to the right and just see him standing at the edge of this piece of rebar for whatever reason. Don't know why he's there. You can see Damien right now. He's kind of like in the triangled section between the starting line and that mountain. He's at the top of the screen now of those really faded out trees at the top of the Haunted Mansion. So, yeah, that's where Damien's hiding out. So speaking of him, let's finally take it to him and defeat him for once and for all. The beginning of the stage is incredibly, incredibly difficult. Try to get a good steady stream of shots against him. This is going to mean a whole bunch of debris on the course, which is very, very easy to trip over, and it caused a lot of restarts for me. But then, of course, after getting a good number of hits on him, he's going to start shooting a whole bunch. His shots are much faster now, and they home on you with great efficiency. And one too many shots with them will basically make you want to restart, because it'll put so much distance between you and him that even the rubber banding really isn't going to save you, because you're still going to need to shoot him a whole bunch more. Like, look at this right now. I have him down to 2 hit points left for the main piece right there. Like, if you get hit by too many parachutes or free shots or slapsticks or whirlwinds, you might as well just restart, because even when you're getting hit by another one, he's just going to hit you with another. Like, again, those things home in on you with deadly efficiency. And yeah, this is only one take that I actually won, but it took me about an hour to actually beat this guy and to actually get this good this far, so do not underestimate him at all. The guy just loves to shoot you. Of course, the easy way to cheese this fight is to use the ninja board, which is you can totally do, and playing as Tommy, that's probably the easiest way to actually beat this final boss. But I'm not going to do that. I did it legitimately, without using a board that basically makes you cheat. I should have used a star board for this section, but I didn't. I used a charm board for whatever dumb reason. You can't get hit by ghosts in this stage. I don't know why I did that. And of course, I was stupid there shooting a bomb point blank and it knocked me off the screen and let Damien just keep going forward. And I can't believe I hit that rock. That's stupid. But in any case, yeah, like, if you don't get a good steady stream of hits on him at the very beginning on the curve, you might as well start over, because you need that there, because that's the one point where you can just attack him without him being able to attack you for a little bit. Now I'm surprised one of these bombs actually homed in on him from this distance. I thought I was going to lose. But with that, I have beaten the game once and for all. I have done and unlocked everything. And of course, after this, you know, is a credit sequence, and then you save. Start the file again, then you can unlock the high-tech board. So that comes after this, but the cutscene's exactly the same, nothing else different happens. So I just skipped the cutscene and got myself the ending title card. And now, we can finally watch the credits of Snowboard Kids 2. So many good memories with this game. Me and my friends really, really love this game. Back during our middle school days. I think I might have first tried this, I think, at the tail end of my elementary school time. This was a game, one of the very few games that I actually rented from my local Blockbuster Video. Like, I actually didn't rent very many games when I was a kid from those places. Only a small handful. I could probably count as many games as I rented back then, you know, on my 2 hands. But this is one of the ones I tried based on the box art. I loved it when I got it home and I tried it, and my parents eventually surprised me by buying a full retail copy, which is the one that I'm using right now to record this footage off of, and I have enjoyed it ever since. It's still a game I come back to and just play through courses occasionally, simply because this is one of my favorite games of all time, and along there with Majora's Mask, I think this is quite possibly probably my favorite Nintendo 64 game that's ever been made. Like, Majora's Mask, I think is a bit of a fluke masterpiece of, like, say, of storytelling and atmosphere for the N64, given its short development time and reuse of assets from Ocarina of Time. But this one is just one of the most charming games that I've played, and I think that word is overused these days. Like, charming is just used like it has its own specific quality, when charming just means, you know, an appeal, like a pleasant appeal to it. For me, the pleasant appeal of this game comes from the color design, it comes from the happy music, it comes from the variety of courses that have all different themes, it comes from the color design, the layouts, the cutscenes that are all, like, good slapstick fun, like a beginning and ending every course, the big round characters, like, say, features of the characters, from the noses and the faces and in the shoes and everything. Everything just lends itself well to a good, fun, lighthearted atmosphere that I do think is very, very charming. And I absolutely adore this game. I love it to death. And it's getting really pricey for resale now too. It didn't sell as well as the first game did, and yeah, it's getting really expensive to get a loose cartridge now, especially in the PAL territories where it was only released in Australia. Like, it goes for over $200 to $250 loose, and for a PAL copy of the game, it's insane. And there, Lanny Manila returned to play just those 3 characters instead of having to play every character now. So I was glad that they got her back. Because, yeah, Lanny Manila's done a whole bunch of voice acting before, so I was actually pleasantly surprised that they were able to bring her back. But of course, probably due to the first game's actually pretty good sales, they were able to get more voice actors for the English dub of this game. I'm not going to be doing a Let's Play of SBK Snowboard Kids for the DS. That game is just not a fun game. There's a lot of things wrong with that one. The draw distance on, like, obstacles is terrible. Like, it can appear just, like, literally half a second before you run into it. The stages are all based on real locations and not, fantasy stages anymore. The boss fight is always the same thing. It's the snowman robot just done 3 times over with longer health bars each time. The trick system is not very fun. The characters have been reworked. They're not like how they are in the first 2 games anymore. They've had their personality changed, and then they're just not very fun. It's a reboot. It's not a sequel, and it's just not a fun time to play, and the music is terrible too. So, SBK Snowboard for the DS, not a good game. This game, however, I think is a masterpiece, and I love it. And this game just sums up just a great piece of my childhood. Thank you, Ractum, and thank you, Atlas, for bringing this game to the United States. It made my childhood, and I hope I can share this with share this game with the rest of you. Now I can understand just what a good piece of my childhood that it was. I'm Shogun Gino. Thanks for watching.